So welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us for our June installment of Live with ByDesign. And we are continuing our series of recap from our most recent users conference event. So for those of you who weren't able to join us live, we wanted to offer these sessions as an alternative so that you didn't miss out on the information that was shared there. Today's topic is everything data. So we're going to be talking comp reporting, great easy tools to be able to get data in front of your reps, and also some new tools at the corporate level so that you can consume data there as well. If it's your first time joining us, here's how we like to do it. There is a chat where you can add questions there, and we will have somebody answering those real time. You can also feel free to interrupt me or save your questions for the end. There will be some time there to explore individual questions that you might have. But again, feel free to interrupt me. We want this to be as interactive as possible. So as I'm going along, if you've got specific questions,
Now I need to
throw
put
them in the
a
chat
destination.
or just ask me out loud. All right, so starting out, the first thing I like to talk about when I'm talking about reporting is our rank progress widget. The rank progress widget is the most common way that your representatives are going to be tracking their progress in your comp plan. So the rank progress widget is something that can be turned on for Revolution, exposed to your reps. That way they can see a percentage of exactly what or exactly how close they are to that next rank. They can also drill down to the specific detailed requirements that are missing. I've lost my
Yes.
cursor. There we go. And also, did you know you can actually duplicate this widget? So this rank progress carousel can be leveraged for any other qualification as well. So if you're already leveraging it for your rank progress, you can turn on a second version, and maybe that second version is going to track a particular bonus. Maybe it's going to track a monthly incentive. Maybe it's a big yearly incentive. There's so many different ways you can leverage this rank progress widget, and it's all done through configuration. So it's all self-service. You can get in there and play around with it, see which KPIs you want to tie it to. Excuse me, or you can reach out to our support team. They'll be happy to help you as well. But if you're not using rank progress, I highly encourage you to turn it on. It will be the go-to tool for your reps. And if you've already got it in use, maybe think about duplicating it. See what other incentives or other qualifications you can track toward in this same visual way. So as I said, this widget is the most common one, and it allows you to drill down into the specific requirements. So as a rep, I can see what I need to get to that next rank. Now, the great thing about setting this up from your perspective, the great thing is that it's going to automatically tie into your comp plan. So the rank requirements for each one of the ranks are going to automatically be populated, but you also have the ability to override those. So for example, one of the most common things that we run into is when you turn on that rank progress widget, one of the first qualifications is that they are a rep in good standing, or that they are an active rep in the company, or that they are commissions enabled. Those are the types of qualifications that we have to build into the comp plan, but they aren't necessarily actionable on the rep's part, or it doesn't make sense to them. They'll be like, what is this? Why am I not commission active? So there's a way to actually turn off some of the qualifications there so that they don't show in the widget. They're still going to be used in the calculation of who earns commissions, but you don't have to display it. You can also update the way that you're displaying these. So for example, in my screenshot here, you can see that the names of the individual requirements are quite long and they're truncated and getting cut off. So instead of saying 200 active volume requirement dot dot dot, you can go in and change that to say, current PV 200. So you can shorten it, you can use terms that your reps are familiar with, and basically adjust what's being displayed so that it makes the most sense for your representatives. So if you haven't been using it because you don't love the way that those individual criteria are displayed, there's a way for you to get around that. Also, if you're going to be duplicating it to use it for an alternative purpose, you're probably going to want to change what shows up there. So just know that that is an option to go in and actually override what those drill down requirements actually look like. And as I said, you can select up to, I think there's 5 different qualifications to drill down into. So you can see here, this is a separate alternative. So instead of just having the rank promotion, this is a trip eligibility status. So promotions for trips that you're taking on an annual basis, monthly incentives, recurring incentives. Those are all some really great examples of what you can do with this widget. Next up, okay, so this is just showing you a little bit behind the scenes of what the different configuration options are. So you can see the comp agent configuration here. You can choose up to 5 agents to actually report on, and that's how you're going to build out that secondary rank progress widget for any other purpose. The additional dashboard displays for reps, we have what is called a compensation report widget. This is one of the dashboard widget templates that are available. So when you're in your dashboard manager, you can find the compensation report is the template that you're going to choose here. And what this allows you to do is actually pull the data from any of your existing reports in your back office. So maybe you have a rank status report, maybe you have a downline qualifications, maybe you've got a monthly KPI report that you offer to your representatives. Any of those reports that are full reports in the back office can be turned into a dashboard widget on the home page as well. So you can see here an example of a rank progress report that has been turned into a widget. There's multiple ways that you can display the information. The first one that you see here is what we call a tile view. It's one step up from the original default grid view. But here in the middle, you can see that there's also ways to bring in visual reporting. I actually love this example. This is something that was built by Daryl, our president and CEO. He actually built out this free text widget, and it's again using the same comp report behind the scenes and using HTML in the free text widget to display it as bar graphs or as the tiles. Okay, so again, if you think of like the stacking of how to display these dashboard widgets, the out of the box version is going to be a simple grid. Here's my columns, here's the data. One step up from that is going to be the tile view. And then you've got the free text widget option that allows you or someone on your team who has that HTML experience to really get creative in the way that you're setting up these widgets. We do have a new KB article focused on this free text widget with comp report specifically. So the support team has done a great job of documenting exactly how to make something like this middle image. So reach out to support. They can give you the link for that article, or they can also help you build out this type of comp report widget. And then finally, you also have the ability to create dashboard graphs. So this is not going to be leveraging HTML, not going to be as custom. It is more out of the box, but essentially what you do on these dashboard bonus graphs, and I think I have it on the next screen, Okay, so here's the dashboard widget display for that graph. You can see here the widget configuration tool that you're going to see in your dashboard back office. On the right is the result there. So you can see that I can literally dictate how many months do I want to show? What is the period calendar, monthly or weekly? Maybe I want to show 4 weeks rolling or 6 months rolling. And then you're literally picking that qualification agent that you want to show. Which volumes are you wanting to show? Is it a recruiting metric? Is it a rank qualification? You choose from your comp data what are the agents that you want to show. You choose how you want to show it. Is it a bar? Is it a line? Is it a pie chart? Like all of that is done through the widget configuration. You can even indicate the color of the bar, right? You can choose, do I want it to be pink or blue? You can match your branding colors. So all of that is available through this template for the dashboard bonus graph. Taking a step back, some of the slides that I skipped over here, I didn't realize that I had it built out this way. So I want to walk through the 3 different options here. So the first option is this tile display. And again, this is the most basic option. It's very out of box. You can see that you don't have a lot of customization options here, but you can choose how many periods do you want to show, and do you want the grid to be 2 wide, 3 wide? You can kind of control the layout of it, but beyond that, it's going to be pretty static, okay? The HTML version, this is where you're going to be able to dictate which bonus run am I looking at, and some high level settings for the widget itself, but it's really going to be the HTML itself that drives what's being displayed. And if you don't understand the HTML, you may have somebody on your team that does. A lot of times your marketing group, or if you have an IT group, they will know how to do this. Again, our support team can help you with it as well. But you can see how the HTML is really driving what's being displayed and how it's being displayed within that widget. And then finally, back to the graph that I already covered, that allows you to select each qualification agent individually, dictate how it's displayed, and the coloring there. All right, so moving beyond the dashboard for your reps, another key area where you can display information, data to your reps is in the contact card. So for those of you who aren't familiar with our platform, within the rep back office, as a rep, I can click on any name, whether it be a customer name or a downline member, and it's going to actually bring up a contact card for that individual. Obviously, it's a contact card. It's going to have contact information, but you can also put reporting into that as well. So in your back office, you can dictate what shows on the contact card. And having a comp report that shows on the contact card can really be key. As a leader, when I'm looking at my downline, so I pull up Jennifer Jordan's contact card and I can immediately see what's her PCV, what's her downline volume, where's she at for the month, what is her current rank. You have the ability to show as much or as little information there. I always say keep it simple. Give the leader enough information to have a coaching conversation with this rep, but not so much information that it's going to overwhelm her or honestly just take up too much room on the screen, right? But you can see here, you have the tile view so that you can really display it in an easy to digest way. The middle picture shows you more of a standard list of the criteria view. So those are both options, either the tile or the list view. And on the right-hand side is when you're actually setting up your comp report and you choose to display it in Revolution, there's a separate checkbox for the contact card itself. And you can also choose to make this what we call a featured report, which is going to bump it to the very top, like you see in the left-hand screen here, with that report being the first thing that you see about this individual. So that's how you can get any of your reporting onto the contact card itself. And again, it's really going to help your leaders as they're working with their downline. So there you can see the checkbox of the featured report that's going to bump it up to the top spot. Beyond widgets and contact cards, obviously there are full reports that you can activate in your back office. And this is where you can get really creative. There are some out of the box reports that are going to apply to almost any company. And you can certainly turn those on, but you can also create your own custom reports using any of the data that we have for your comp plan. So anything that we're using to track volumes, to track rank, to track progress of a rep within your business can be leveraged to actually build out a report in the back office. So you can do what is considered to be a standard report where it's literally just going to return the results in a grid, or you can actually create a report with filtering options at the top. So with this, it's still going to return the data at the bottom of the screen, but you're also allowing the rep to dictate what period do I want to look at. What are the different views for my downline? This is exceptionally powerful in my opinion. So the period, very straightforward. It's going to be month by month, week by week, whatever your periods are. But the views are a way to basically segment a downline. So as a rep, sometimes I want to view a report for my entire organization. Other times I only want to see my personally sponsored. Maybe I only want to see my frontline. Maybe the commission plan pays out 3 levels deep. So I want a view that's going to show me 3 levels deep. You at the corporate level can set up these different views and segment the downline so that as a rep, when I come in, all I have to do is choose which one of the views I actually want to access for this report. There's also a search box and an advanced filter. So those are pretty standard options, but you can choose whether you want to allow searching or filtering or not. I recommend putting it out there because it's only going to make the report more usable for your field. But you may have reasons, or there may be certain reports that you want to stick to more of just returning the results and not allowing them to manipulate them. So those are kind of the two different types of full reports that you can build out. And you have kind of the similar reports for the company in the back office. Okay, so now we're kind of shifting, moving into the back office here. And now I'm going to be viewing compensation data for the entire company. So here's where you're going to find that when you go into the bonus area of Freedom, you can actually look at the specific reports at a company level. But did you know you also have the ability to view it at a rep level? If you're on a representative's page, you can go into their bonus area and view all of their bonus data just filtered for that one rep. Okay, so know that both of those options are available to you in the Freedom back office. So now that we've talked about where you can expose the reports and what you can make them look like, let's go back to the actual building of those reports. We have a tool called the Comp Report Builder. It's the Compensation Report Builder. And if you're not currently using this, I highly recommend that you start using it. Basically, what this tool is going to allow you to do is leverage any of the existing comp agents. Like I said, anything we're using to calculate volume, calculate rank, any of those agents that already exist in your system, you can use to build out a report. It is accessible in the bonus area under reports and then go to report builder. If you don't see it there, call into support. We need to just honestly check a box to expose it to you. So depending on when you joined us, we now turn it on for everybody out of the box. But if you've been with us for a while, it might be hidden from you. So if you go into bonus reports and don't see the report builder, just reach out to us. We can turn it on for you. But if you do see it, this is how you're going to access this tool. And this is what the tool is going to look like whenever you get in there and start looking at it. So basically, you can see here in my first screenshot, I'm building out a report by literally building out each column that I want to show in that report. So going back to some of our examples of the reports that you saw over here, my columns here, the period, active, organic, rank, that's what you're selecting in the comp report builder. So for my left hand screenshot here, I'm building out a report for recent earning totals. So far, I've got the period, I've got weekly earnings, monthly earnings, and total earnings. So I'm literally going to build out a report by dictating what is the data that I want to show in every single one of the columns. You can choose the data and also name the column exactly what you want to name it. So on that screenshot on the left, if I were to click new to add a new column to this report, I would land on the second screenshot that shows report columns. And there's two key naming conventions that you need to understand. First is going to be column type. Column type is what type of data are you looking for? Maybe it's auto ship data. Maybe it's rep data. Maybe it's qualification data. Maybe it's bonus data. So think about like what table do you want to access? Do you want to access the rank requirement table, the rep table, bonus table, auto ship table? That's the first step, and that's going to be your column type. Once you set your column type, then you will see all of the individual data agents that are available. So for example, if I were in my first screenshot, you can see the scroll bars there. Okay, so that means just selecting tables, there's about 30 different tables that you can choose from. One of them is going to be the rep qualifications. Rep qualifications is really going to be your most highly used table. And when you select that, you get this second drop down that literally shows all of your current comp agents. So all of your volume. Do you want to display personal volume, group volume, downline volume? Maybe you have a number of personally sponsored in the period. Maybe it's downline leaders in the period. Maybe it's, downline leaders that are at a certain PV or higher. Anything that is in your comp plan can be returned as a column here. Okay, so I tried in my screenshots to kind of show you the breadth of what's possible, but it really takes just getting in there and playing with this tool to really understand everything that you can achieve. You can play with it on your own. If you run into trouble or if you don't even know where to start, reach out to the support team. They are happy to talk through this with you or schedule time with me. I love this tool and I will spend hours showing you how to use it. So feel free to reach out to support or myself. We're happy to show you how to use this comp report builder. So you're using this tool to literally build an out of the box, build a custom report using any of the data on your comp plan. Most common column examples, credit balance. You can build a report that shows credit balances for each of your reps. You can do first upline with a current rank. So maybe you want to display not only a rep and the sponsor, but who is the upline manager or upline director. Okay, that can be really important, especially if their direct sponsor is one of those less than active reps or part-time reps. Maybe it's actually the upline leader that you're going to want to connect with about this person. You can also do mathematical operations. So if I were to return the PV for current month and PV for last month and PV for 2 months ago, I can use a mathematical operation to sum up those 3 months into a rolling 3-month PV. Right? So you can get real creative. You can do year over year comparisons, month over month comparisons. We have real time volumes as well as comp volumes. And then anything about a rep, contact information, email, phone number, mailing address, It can be, the rep ID. A link to the rep's contact card is one of the options there. You can literally choose from any of the data that we're using there. We also have the ability to pull in rep attributes. So if you are leveraging rep attributes, you can also leverage those in this tool. So you can start to see what's possible here, and really it's a lot. Is there a feature that can enable our reps to see their history of earnings? Absolutely, yes. Great question. When you go in to build out the report, one of the options that you're going to see is you can see the bonus run options. There's bonus run date, bonus run description, bonus run totals. Leveraging those bonus run tables, and I think there's actually another one that starts with an R, so it's off of the scroll here, but it's rep bonus data. Any of those bonus tables are going to allow you to pull in earnings, and it can be total earnings. It can be broken down by bonus type, so you can show them a report that just shows total earnings across the last 12 months, across the last 6 months. You can do year to date. You can kind of set your own threshold there, but you can also break it down further and say, okay, here's my total earnings, but also how much is coming from personal sales versus my downline sales versus a leadership bonus. So once you get in, it's going to depend on how many different data points we're tracking for your company. But yes, you can absolutely build out a report using this tool to either show their current earnings broken out in detail or total earnings over time. It's a great question and a very good use case for this tool. If you run into any trouble as you're setting that up, feel free to reach out. We're happy to help you there. But I think once you get in and actually start playing with the tool, you'll start finding the data that you want in order to display it. All right, here's one example of what we were able to pull for a client. So one of our clients, New Vita Global, they came to us and they asked, we really want to build out a monthly affiliate report, but we want to be able to compare current month across previous months. And typically in our out-of-box reporting, you can only view 1 month at a time. So we were able to use the comp report builder to select the same data across multiple periods. And primarily, they wanted to look at rolling 3 months. What is the rank across those months? So I went in and I set up the report columns. So the first few columns are just literally like ID, name, email, because you have to think about when I actually run the report, I need to see who I'm viewing the report for. So those are going to be my first few columns, just informing me. But the last columns there are what you're really going to look at to be able to display the data across multiple periods. You can see here, I'm using the same agent, which is the paid as rank, but I'm displaying it 3 times. Each time is pointing to a different period. So I'm using the same qualification agent of paid as rank, but I'm showing the last month, 2 months back, and 3 months back. When I build that out using the report columns on the Freedom side, the resulting report that is shown on Revolution or within Freedom as well, is going to show me those 3 columns because it's pulling from the 3 different date periods. So this is a really great solution for them, and a really great way we were able to solve it with configuration so that they didn't have to pay for any custom dev to make that report. All right. So now shifting a little bit to something that you may not think of as a report, but really behind the scenes, it's all data driven. And it's one of my favorite tools that are available here at ByDesign. And that is what we call bonus autoresponders or bonus based alerts. Essentially, the autoresponder tools that are in the back office that you can set up for, order tracking or abandoned cart or new enrollments. There are all of these automated communications that you can set up. One area of the automated communications that is so powerful are based on bonus qualifications. So you can see here, I've pulled up the autoresponder page, and I'm going to use the autoresponder type of rep bonus qualification. Once I choose that template, I'm going to be able to basically indicate my time frame, my calendar type, and up to 4 different agents for any one of these alerts. Okay. Oh, sorry. Actually, it's 5. I thought it was 4. Up to 5 agents for these alerts. And what I'm going to be able to do then is 2 things. One, in the middle screenshot, you can see that I'm using the bonus agent as a filter to say who's going to even receive this communication. Okay. Only those that have PQV greater than or equal to 4,500 and have PQV less than 5,000. Okay. So what I've done is basically leveraged my personal qualifying volume as a threshold for identifying who are the reps that I want to receive this. Anybody that's currently between 4,500 and 5,000, that's who I want to send this message to. Okay, so that's one way of using the data in the template. The second way is in the message itself. You can insert the values as field tags within the message. So if I'm sending a message to those that are between 4,500 and 5,000, in the message, I can let them know your current PQV is whatever that agent one value is. Strive for 5,000 because then you're going to be able to unlock additional earnings opportunities. Okay. And if you think about the real life value of this, think about as a rep, I'm going to get an automated communication that that tells me I'm only 300 away from unlocking more earnings. Most often, the reason that reps don't strive for something they're close to is they simply do not know. And having managed a comp plan in my prior life, I can't tell you how many times I had reps literally crying on the phone to me. If I had only known how close I was, if I had known XYZ, right? So that's what this is empowering you to do, is to be able to push out the information, reach them where they already are, let them know you are so close to achieving something. Either you're close to the next rank, you're close to unlocking a bonus, you're close to losing access. You know, the opposite end of this is those that haven't been active and are about to lose their status as a rep. These are all examples of what you can do with these bonus based alerts. They're very, very powerful. I, again, could sit with you for an hour just talking about bonus based alerts. That's how passionate I am about them. Great question, Lucy. We could contact me for training sessions. Yes, email me directly, or you can call support, ask them to set up a training session with me. Either way, you can do it. Okay, so just reach out to me directly or call support and they'll put you in touch with me as well. So that's the base information on these bonus alerts. Here's a great real life use case. So we have a client, their name is Crunchy, and they have basically a rolling 6-month volume that you have to have a minimum volume within that 6 months or you become canceled. Okay. And they were manually running reports to identify the rolling 6-month volume reps and who did not meet the minimum threshold. Then they were manually sending emails out to those individuals to let them know they were at risk of being canceled. We were able to leverage our bonus based alerts to automate the entire thing. So we set up the rules of anybody who has the rolling 6-month volume less than 400 in a 6-month period is going to get this message. We also had to exclude new reps. So now it was twofold. It was anybody with less than 400 PV in the 6 months and anybody with a join date older than 6 months ago. That was kind of the criteria of who's going to actually get this alert. Then within the alert itself, we were able to use the data to let them know exactly what their PV is. Am I at 0 or am I at 395? Right? That makes a big difference to me, because if I'm at 0, chances are I'm just going to be going away. But if I happen to be at 390 and I'm just unaware that I'm at risk of cancellation, this is going to really help me understand what I need to do to avoid that consequence. So we were able to set up this automated communication that went out. And as a result, we have seen that it's saving this client 3 hours each week by automatically pulling, sorting, and sending the emails. So that freed up 3 hours of somebody's time that they could spend on other things, right? Because the system is doing this for them. And while 3 hours might not seem a lot every single week, knowing that out of a 40-hour week for somebody, 3 of it is being sent here, you really can gain some traction and refocus their efforts elsewhere. And then they also said that, the automated email, including the exact value of what that rolling 6-month volume was really a fantastic win, because they didn't have that when they were doing it manually. If they wanted to do it manually, they would have to literally look it up as they're composing the email to every single one of their reps. They don't have to do that with us because it's automated and it's going to automatically pull in that information. All right, so bonus-based alerts is another one. If you're not using it, we need to talk, because it really can help grow your business. I also wanted to finish up with a brand new tool that we are offering for your corporate team, and primarily for the executives at your corporate team. This is definitely not something that you would expose to your field. Also, not something that like your customer service team is going to need. But we do have a new KPI dashboard that's available in the Freedom back office. And it did launch with the April release. And we released it kind of hidden behind a setting. So if you're not seeing it, it's not that you're not up to date. It's just that we have it kind of hidden behind a flag. So if you're interested in seeing it, you'll need to reach out to support. They can grant you that access. But basically, what it is a dashboard that pulls together 20 of the most common KPIs in our industry. Okay, so, when it comes to revenue, okay, here's your total sales for the month, but of that, how much is coming from your customers? How much is coming from reps? How much is new reps versus existing reps? New customers versus existing customers? New recruits, where are they coming from? How many reps do you have that are recruiting other reps? And is that number growing or declining? Last year, maybe you had 200 recruiting reps. This year, you only have 120. Okay? That's going to be a problem if it continues to trend downward. What can we do to reverse that and get more people sharing the opportunity? Or maybe it was 100 last year and now it's 250, which is fantastic. You've got more people out there sharing the opportunity. But then we also bring in, how many reps are they bringing in? On average, each person that is recruiting is bringing on 2 new people a month. Last year it was 1. Fantastic. That means that our core foundation of reps out there is growing. However, if it used to be 2 and now it's 1, what's the problem? Do we need to offer better training materials on how to recruit? Do we need to offer incentives to incentivize our reps to recruit? Do we need to adjust our enrollment fee or the enrollment kit that they get? It's going to help you view data in a strategic way so that you know what you need to do. Which levers do I need to pull? Okay, so it's going to start out with about 20 core KPIs already built in. We are looking for feedback on what some of the missing KPIs might be. So if you have any specific ones you're looking for, you can definitely let us know. But what's great is that, we're leveraging these core KPIs to actually serve up about 40 different views. So, rep productivity, customer revenue as a percent of your total, new enrollers as a percent of active reps. So, these are really insightful pieces of data that can really help you be strategic in the way that you're doing your business. And what I really love is that it's going to show you your own data year over year for the last, I think, 3 years is what it's set up for out of the box. So you can see, am I doing better than last year or 2 years ago? How are my trends changing? But we also have a industry bench line built in there because we have data from 100 different companies that are using our platform. We can consolidate and summarize that data to arrive at these benchmarks. So not only can you see, is my rep recruiting rate up or down compared to where I was last year? How does it compare to others in the industry? What should I be aiming for? Am I better than the standard, or am I falling behind? So that's what this tool is really empowering you to do, is get strategic, look at the data in your system to look for those opportunities to make a small change that might have a big impact. And then finally, I do want to really quickly talk about our Freedom Data Warehouse. This is an optional add-on, and if you want to add Freedom Data Warehouse to your platform, there is a fee. There's a setup fee and a recurring monthly fee. But essentially, what this is we will duplicate our data for your business. It's going to be rep data, order data, commissions data, inventory data, party data, all of the data that you have access to. We duplicate it and then give you direct access to it. So you can, instead of having to use our out of the box reports or build your own reports in our system, you can actually query the data directly. I do recommend having somebody on your team that understands how to write SQL queries. But if you've already got somebody that can do that, the Freedom Data Warehouse is going to open up the world for what you're able to pull and leverage out of our system. You can use the Freedom Data Warehouse in a number of ways. Here's what it looks like. So I'm actually writing a query to access the data. If you recognize this as a SQL query, great, you could probably use this tool. If not, there's probably somebody on your team who does, and that's who you're going to want to give access to this tool. So this is where I'm actually writing out the queries to be able to access the data. And then I can view that data within the Freedom back office. So here's a great example of what was built out using the FDW, and can be viewed in the back office in Freedom. You can also build out widgets that you display to your reps. So this simple start summary was built using the FDW. This CEO circle is a full report. So you can make widgets, you can make full reports using the FDW. We also have added a brand new report builder that lays on top of the Freedom Data Warehouse. So if you don't have that SQL knowledge and you need a little bit more guided help, that's what this new dynamic report builder is doing. However, I will say, to get the most value out of the Freedom Data Warehouse, it really helps to have that SQL knowledge or somebody on your team that can help you write those queries directly. So here's what that new report builder looks like. It's more of a wizard interface. I'm not actually having to write SQL. I'm just kind of using the drop downs to kind of get at the information that I want. All right, I have been talking for the last 45 minutes, so I will stop here. I know I had a lot of information that I shared, so I will open it up. If you've got questions, you can unmute yourself and ask them in real time. I did answer the couple that I saw in the chat. Lucy, I think you and I are going to be setting up some time so that we can work through some of this. So reach out to me via email or call support. Let them know that you want to set up some time with Cassie, and we can definitely talk about how to leverage these tools in your business. For anybody who might be watching the recording, the same thing goes for you as well. If you're an existing client, reach out. I'm happy to do some one-on-one training. Our support team can also facilitate that. I don't have to be the one that trains you. I just happen to be very passionate about it. But anybody on the support team can also help you to leverage these tools. If you are not yet a client and you're interested in learning more about our platform or specifically about some of these reporting tools, go to ByDesign.com, request a demo. Email me, cassie.lewis@bydesign.com. Call us. We've got a toll-free number. We will make sure we put you in connection with the right people to answer your questions. We don't want you to miss out on great tools just because you don't know what's possible. So at that, I will go ahead and end it.